Tell us about the background. It's great.
Yeah, so that is the inset gatefold
Yep.
of the CD cover
Yes.
of my 2008 album Vesuvius.
Cool. Nice one. Well, you did a fine
And
job of keying it behind you. So
oh
I got
yeah,
to
thank
say,
you.
in the time between when we just spoke, before we spoke, and now I listened to the album again, I got to say, it's an amazing sounding record, just production wise, without anything else on top of it. So before we get into the nuts and bolts of the thing, how did you get it to sound like that?
Well, it was averagely and amateurishly recorded by me in my garage, but expertly mixed by Lee Preble at the surgery.
Very good.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I just tried to make sure that I didn't fuck anything up too much. Basically,
I don't think you did.
Yeah.
I think you got it, man. It sounds awesome.
And Lee and I have worked together for years and years. And on many things. I'm just going to put my phone on silent. Sorry.
Yep, that's all right.
Oh, it is on silent. Why was it dinging? Weird thing. And one of the cool things about working with Lee as well is that we have kind of grown. I mean, not necessarily together, but when we first did Horsepower, he'd just started the surgery and he only had a few bits of gear, and then every album we get a bit better, he's got a bit more gear. Now the surgery is just a totally rocking awesome studio with amazing gear, and he's done so many more albums, and I feel like I'm better at it too. Yep. So mostly it was just me sitting on the couch at the back of the room, like playing dumb games on my phone, just using my ears, but doing something with my fingers like that, and just going, yeah, that sounds good.
Yep.
What about a bit more like that? And he just did it.
Well, it works. Son of a gun. Who would have thought?
Hardest 2 weeks of work of my life, just lying on a couch.
I hate when that happens. Another thing I have to touch on before we talk about the record is the fact that you made Morrissey angry, which is always a plus in my book.
Yeah, well, I shouldn't really be. I mean, what that is if you're mates with Brett McKenzie and he's asked to do some kind of amazing job like write a song for The Simpsons and he needs someone to play guitar, I was just lucky enough to be asked. Right. And I'm extremely chuffed to have some guitar that I played on The Simpsons, that's for sure.
That's very cool. Yeah.
Irritating Morrissey is a plus, although and there's still a space for the Smiths in my heart.
Sure.
Because of Johnny Marr.
Absolutely. I think everyone that I talk to is of the same mindset. Johnny's great, maybe not Morrissey, but there you go. Anyway.
And I actually think the interesting thing about that is that there's a lot of really nasty lyrics that Morrissey's written. Yep. And we all, I guess that like, I would always think, man, that's just a really dark sense of humor and stuff like that. But then you go, oh, maybe he's just a nasty asshole.
He wasn't joking.
So, yeah. Maybe he does want to smash every tooth in your mouth.
Yep. It's very possible. Well, anyway, back to your record now. So what brought this on? This third solo album after so many years?
Well, I've got no other choices, I've worked hard throughout my life to eliminate all other options.
Right.
So that I have to make music.
Yep. Well, that's true, but
no. So I mean, I am always making music. I'm currently in my garage right now where I have a little studio. Right. It's a little bit moldy. It's a little bit shit, but that's what I got right now. Yeah. And this is where I do all the film and TV work that Monica, which is Sam and Conrad and I from the Phoenix Foundation, work together on film and TV scores.
Right.
And so since I've had this space, I guess I've been making even more music because I pretty much come down here like a full-time job and sometimes in the evenings and sometimes in the weekends. I mean, it's been a long time since my last solo album, which was in 2008, but it had also been a long time since Give Up Your Dreams. Right. The Phoenix Foundation album, because that was in 2015. And I just started sort of making music and I thought, you know what, maybe it's time for me to do another solo one. I actually thought that this album would be out before Friendship, the last Phoenix Nation album.
Yeah, yeah.
It's actually been pretty much finished since the end of 2019, this Buda
So
album.
what happened? What kept it up? What held it up?
Well, the Phoenix Nation one just had like more impetus in terms of that we've got a really proactive manager. So I was like, okay, well, that's actually just happening now. Whereas
Gotcha.
I'm going really slowly because, well, for one thing, the last time I released a solo album, it was a completely different landscape anyway.
Yep.
But also I had a record company, and this time I did it all by myself. And you'd think that I'd know how everything works.
Nobody knows how it works.
Band for a long time. Phoenix Nation have just had an amazing manager in Craig Pierce and Matt McLeod before him, who've just always taken care of all of that stuff. So this has been a learning curve for sure.
Okay, all right.
Just all the little admin that needs to be done to actually get the sucker out.
Yep. Admin is the word that scares me to death these days, because you just know you're going to go down a rabbit hole and it's going to take 10 times longer than it should.
Yeah, there's no way around it.
No,
You
that's
just got to tick every box.
Yep, ticking all the boxes. That's the way to go. So it's out on Friday. Got to be feeling good about it. I mean, and of course things are strange here in New Zealand. So different for you in Wellington it is up here in Auckland. How are you feeling about the whole mess?
Well, I don't know whether you saw or not, because we probably announced it like a couple of hours ago. We announced that the tour, of course, is postponed until next year.
I didn't know that, no.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's pretty predictable, you know, but it still sucks.
Yep.
And I guess that we sort of thought when that first lockdown, when the second, it wasn't this, was it in like August, when the August lockdown hit?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't know how to define which lockdown it was. When it hit in August, we thought, okay, we're just going to carry on with the tour as it is because it's in October, and surely this is just going to be another little
yeah. I think
like
everybody was thinking like that. Yeah, definitely.
And so we've just been holding off. And also I'm doing the tour with Banished Music, and they're doing a lot of tours. So I thought I'll just let them deal with all the tours that are directly affected it in the August one, and then I was like, I'll let them deal with just the September one. And then it was like maybe last week on Thursday we were like, ain't gonna work.
I'm sorry to hear it, because I know you were starting down in Christchurch, so I figure hopefully by the time you get up to Auckland things will be, but no.
The issue is that with social distancing in the venues, you could pretty much get hardly anyone in there, and it'd just be like me literally paying thousands of dollars to play to like 30 people in Christchurch, which
there's a good time.
Though I am exceedingly wealthy through all the record sales in New Zealand, I just wasn't quite prepared to do that.
Fair enough. So back to the songs that comprise the record, though. So they were written and recorded a while ago. Do you look at them in a different light now with everything that's happened in between time?
I think I'm already like have changed some of my tastes, or I have like I definitely have an idea of some things to change next time I record things. I think for a long time I've been really into layering and producing and making things sort of lush, and
lush is definitely the word for this one. I wrote it down many times.
Well, I think I use music to soothe my soul. And that's probably just what I'm trying to do. Something that feels like a nice, comfy pillow.
Yep.
And I mean, I love some confrontational shit. I used to listen to death metal when I was, 16. I like hard Obituary and Carcass, and like actually the real full-on stuff. But now I just want to be I want my world-weary soul to be soothed. And I guess that's kind of that's what I end up trying to do when I make music. Gotcha.
Well, thinking about the lyrics and how they will be perceived now as opposed to earlier, like the last song is called Brain Jail, and you're talking about the situation is not under control and all this stuff. So you can see some reading between the lines in that one. What was your intention when you wrote it?
Well, but funnily enough, there's quite a few sort of apocalypse anxiety songs on friendship as well, and they're all written before COVID, so it's just kind of like there was already things were already pretty tense.
Yep.
But the funny thing about Under Control is it sounds like it's really epic and stuff, but it's literally about my inability to answer emails and deal with what we've already talked about, my day-to-day admin in a
right.
Yeah, I mean, the last lyric of the song, I think, is when I don't reply to your message, there is really no excuse.
Fair enough. All right. Well, that's good to know. Now, you've got some people playing on the record with you, and I was listening to She's Arriving Soon. I heard a horn, and I'm thinking that's got to be Don McGlashan. Is that him?
It is indeed him, yes. Yeah, so Don and I guess we sort of got a little bit of a music-y relationship going. I can't remember what year it was. We released a song. He helped me write a song that was protesting the Australian camps on Nauru.
Right.
And it was called Children Don't Belong in Jail.
Right.
And I had the song, but I didn't really have enough lyrics. And literally I just thought, who is the kind of person who I could get, to help with the lyrics?
Yep.
And it was just like Don, and he stepped up to the plate.
Yep.
Got researched and wrote some great lyrics. And so then I asked him to play horn on this. And also, funnily enough, I've co-written a song on his new album.
Oh, good.
And the way that happened is it was actually a song that I was thinking about putting on my album, and I didn't have any lyrics for it. And so then I sent it to him, but that ended up taking a while. So I ended up basically finishing this album. And then he was like, if you don't want to use the song, which I couldn't at the time because I'd finished the album, maybe I'll use it. And I was like, well, all right.
Yeah,
cool.
There you go. It's nice that the two of you are able to collaborate like that, though.
Yeah. And he's a real lyric writer too, but he's not the only other. I also have lyrics written on the album by Damien Wilkins.
Right.
And with both of them, I was really struck by how quickly they turned the lyrics around, because for me, it's a real nightmare, frankly. And sometimes it'll take 3 years for me to get the last line. And then I still go, no, God, I wish that line wasn't that. Yep. And so with Damien Wilkins, I sent him Here Comes the Wind, because I couldn't get anything going. And he basically sent me the lyrics back the next day. and with Don, I think it was like maybe 4 days later, he was like, here's some lyrics. Man. So I'm very impressed with them for that.
Well, you never know. I mean, because it's all about, if somebody was to come to you and say, can you whip up some lyrics for me? You might approach it in a different way and actually come up with something quicker.
That's true.
Because somebody's waiting for it. Whereas, let's face it, you could spend a year on yours, and the only one that's waiting is you.
And I think the reason I've never found that out is because I've always been too shit scared to give that a go.
Well, there you go. Something to look forward to.
Yeah.
It's a whole new thing out there going on. Everything's changed.
I mean, yeah, and that's true. Please send me some. No, actually, no.
Yeah.
Cut that bit out.
Now, we were talking about She's Arriving Soon. The following track, I'm a bit out of shape. There's all sorts of interesting sonic flourishes going on there. What can you tell me is going on?
So actually, the drums are me playing my son's electric drum kit in the garage.
Right.
It was pretty hot in the garage that day. It's one of those buildings that's like, if it's sunny, it's unbearably hot, and if it's cold, it's unbearably cold in here.
Sure.
One of those ones.
Yep.
So it was unbearably hot. I was in my underpants, which was pretty apt for recording a song called "I'm a Bit Out of Shape," just so I could really get in the zone of that song. And that was one of the most fun sessions I've had in my life, really, because there's a few songs on the album that are like that. Yep. And I got a bunch of drum machine sounds that I enjoyed, and I smashed it out. And there's a cool, I quite like the guitar solo sound in that. That's it's got some crazy harmonic distortion, and it's got an octave up effect, and it sounds very doesn't really sound like a guitar.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. Now we should touch on Anita Clark's contribution to the record. She sings pretty much throughout the whole thing. The one that stood out for me was Private Message. The harmonies on that were just gorgeous.
Yeah. Well, so when we were recording that, actually, she was like, wow, this is soft disco. I love it. And I'd never thought about it as soft disco. But
see, if somebody told me it was soft disco, I'd be like, out the door. I don't want to hear that.
How the fuck? No, but I love all the styles, and I I'll try to have no hang-ups regarding what is supposed to be tasteful or accepted. I'm so down with any kind of forbidden flavor of music that there is, you know, like the fretless bass with chorus. Yes, please, more of that. You know, a little bit of flamenco guitar over the hip hop beat.
Yes. There you go. Well, I've been interviewing a lot of bluegrass musicians, and I'm I used to be like, that stuff was old time. My parents listened to. I don't want to know about that stuff, but now I love it. So there you go.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's great. So
they probably have to. They've probably got to be a little bit precious about what sounds they use to.
Well, they seem to be expanding their palettes as well. So it's all very exciting. Yeah, I think everybody's just kind of thinking like you are. It's like, I don't care anymore. Let's try this.
For me, it's always trying to not have a preconceived notion of what the thing sounds like, except for occasionally where very infrequently I will have something come pretty preformed into my brain, like Burning Wreck on the Phoenix Foundation album. Happy Ending was a song where literally I was driving on the motorway having both an existential crisis and terrified of the fact that I was driving a car at 100 kilometers an hour on the motorway and how I'm just a little fleshy speck in this.
You can't think like that.
Hurtling. And I was like, wow, I'm going to when I get home, I'm going to write a slow song about this so that was like a magic moment.
Right.
But often it's like a journey of discovery for me, for sure.
All right.
And I embrace all the sounds.
Very good. So speaking of the Phoenix Foundation, all the guys apparently are on the record. So everybody's cool with everybody doing their little side projects and all that. So what's happening next? Oh no, Vera Williams is early.
Oh, now she's back. You had your chance. Well, I don't know. I mean, what's happening next with the Phoenix?
Well, just in general, what are you thinking? You got the tour is kind of postponed.
Well, so this is the vibe. So it's supposed to be the tour, and then Sam and Con and I have got some pretty awesome film soundtrack work lined up.
Right.
I think that once I finish my solo album cycle, I might look at another Teeth album, which is like my band with David Long and Anthony Donaldson and Tom Corwood.
Yep.
Which is a very different thing as well, because we just pretty much record that live and it isn't a produced vibe at all, apart from the vocals. But I mean, I don't know. I think I've been so focused on Buda, the album, that I haven't really been looking into the future that much, other than there's quite a big filmy job happening, which basically is thank fuck for that, because that's income.